We all love making our big quilts or our projects, but it's always satisfying to be able to put our scraps that are left over to good use. So for this quilt, you may recognise these fabrics that were used to make the table table runner and table mats recently. So I only had a few squares left over of the different fabrics. So I wanted to do something useful for them. So what I did to start with, I made some half square triangles. I used the dark fabric and just paired them up with the other fabrics that I had and went as far as I could go. I think there's one left over. And then I played around with arrangement. So I got the blocks like this, put the size together, and obviously it wasn't going to be big enough. So what I did was to find some fabric that I could add to it to make it into a usable size. So what I've done is picked out the green in here and used it to get the sashings and border fabric. So I've used the darker pattern fabric here to form a sashing round, and then a wider border on the side, and as you can see I've used the darker one as a binding to bring it all together. So from just a few scraps, maybe sort of a dozen blocks, well less than that I think, squares, we've formed a little baby quilt that will go off. For the backing as well, I've used the fabric that I bought, the dark and the light green. Kept the quilting simple. I've gone around the blocks inside, around the blocks here. Along the outer border I've done a wavy line, and then just outside the seam here I've done a block too. I went round the inside in the ditch too. So a very simple quilt. It's baby size, so suitable for either to go at the top of a Moses basket for travelling, in a car seat, something like that. So very pleased with how that's turned out. So if you've got some scraps left over, don't throw them away, just use a bit of imagination and see if you can come up and make something useful. Sometimes the challenge of what you can do with them is quite a good practice for us when we're designing our own quilts.